here for your review and questions. One other thing to note is that we're heading into the budget season. So we will next month be presenting the budget for review to finance committee and then onto the full board for approval.
Okay, any questions, Tom? Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business, we have Philip having comments.
Thank you. So this project was the subject of a public hearing last week. As very much know, written or verbal comments were received. This project has also been discussed at length in numerous finance committee meetings. Just a very quick recap. It involves the new construction of two structures totaling approximately 71,000 square feet that will include 63 affordable housing units and about 4,800 square feet of commercial space, which is intended to house a daycare facility. We do have a representative, Mr. Goldman, here with us today on the project. If there's any outstanding questions that have not been answered to date.
Nope.
Yes. Or the action, I'll just note for the record that staff completed a extensive cost benefit analysis for this project as part of the review. And as is standard for all of our applicants.
So you said this, but no comments received at the public hearing last Wednesday.
Correct.
Any questions from the board today? Okay, so the first item, may I get a motion on the resolution concurring in the determination by the city Albany planning board as legal fee for the environmental review of the Golden Avenue Commons LLC proposed project. May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Get to the title of the next resolution. Next item, may I get a motion on the resolution authorizing a deviation from the agency's vehicle tax exemption policy in connection with the proposed payment and with tax agreements we entered into by the agency in connection with the proposed Golden Avenue Commons LLC project.
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to go over anything with the commercial resolution before we go into that? So, all right. Next, may I get a motion on the resolution determining that the proposed determining that the proposed Coben Avenue Commons LLC project is a commercial project and B, making certain findings required under the general municipal law.
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, and finally, the approving resolution, may I make a motion in the resolution authorizing execution of documents in connection with a leaseback transaction for a project of Golden Avenue Commons LLC.
So moved.
May I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda under new business is 21 Erie.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. 21 Area Associates was a project that came through the agency for sales and regulatory tax only involved the redevelopment of what was previously the Huck Fitness Furniture Warehouse into approximately 274 market rate residential apartment units and about 4 or 5 commercial spaces. The applicant, who Elizabeth is here with us today, they're looking to refinance, and as part of that refinance, voluntarily terminate the lease agreement early, which this body has permitted in the past. Of note, the uniform agency project agreement would remain intact. That is the document that does provide this agency with recourse to the applicant for the full reporting period, including reporting of jobs and also recapture. So that will remain in place for the 5-year term of the documents that were originally approved, which I believe extend out maybe another 2 years at most, not long. So if anyone has any detailed questions about the mechanics of what is being requested, we do have Joe Scott with us today and the applicant as well.
while you're thinking of any questions, I just want to highlight that this resolution has as our normal conditions. If you look at page 4, printed page 4 of the resolution, section 2, compliance with the documents, payment of fees, including the IDA fee, reference to section 2. As our typical conditions for moving forward on the execution of the documents. And the point that I just want to underscore that Andy made is that, we always have our clawback agency project agreement be coterminous with, the pilot agreement transaction. So it's usually 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, depending on the term of the pilot. Here, there's no pilot. But what the idea has done from a policy standpoint is had a 5-year term for that clawback agreement, because you want to make sure that if we're extending the benefits to a private applicant, that they're adhering to their representations in the application for at least 5 years. So even though they're terminating early the IDA documents, the clawback agreement is staying on for the balance of that 5-year term.
So the lease is ending, but the obligations remain.
Correct. The reporting and the clawback obligations remain.
Yeah, but the pilot obligations not.
Well, there was no pilot at first.
Oh, there's just the sales tax.
And that's the point of differential here.
Yeah.
A non-pilot deal, we have a 5-year clawback term.
Darius, to be clear, this project is up to date on the reporting.
They better be.
I'm sure Elizabeth feels the same. Somebody's in trouble.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, then I'll ask for a resolution, or motion, to approve resolution consenting to and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain documents with respect to the agency street lease reconstruction and uniform agency property project agreement combination of the 21 Community Associates LLC project.
So
Second, all in favor?
all right.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
See you later.
Next item on the agenda is 1211 Western Avenue Property Associates.
Sure, thank you, Chair, and, Ashley, please fill any gaps that I missed, as I was, absent from the finance committee last week. There's my understanding that, there was a discussion had last week at the finance committee level, about a request for the, from the applicant who's here with us today for the extension of the, sales tax exemption certificate. By extension, that would be date only, not dollar value. And also the simultaneous extension of the completion date, which is memorialized in the documents as well. The request is to extend both those dates through April 30th. I want to kind of pause there and turn the floor over to the project beneficiary to give the board an update on the project status and also provide board members to ask whatever relevant questions they may have.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Keegan Hamill. I'm the Vice President of Acquisitions and Development. I'm here with my colleague Anda Lay, who works on the finance team. So I want to just give everybody a brief update on where we are with construction. I was on site this morning meeting with our team, and we are targeting completion of construction at the end of Q1 of next year. So we're targeting completion in March, and then occupancy will be beginning in April of next year. We intend to start our leasing efforts at the beginning of next year, our marketing campaign, so that we can hire waiting lists of people who are ready to move in. So that would be in advance of our CFO issuance. We also have 2 signed leases for commercial tenants on the ground floor. One is going to be a bakery, the other is going to be a pizzeria. And they would hopefully be open and operational before the end of this year. So we have to put in our storefront glass. We have to create essentially what we call a white box, bring our utility hookups to their spaces. And then their build out of their space is carried to 6 to 8 weeks. So there's a strong possibility that they could be operational before the end of this calendar year. And it has also been residential tenants moving in beginning of April. I also understand that there's some concerns about the condition of the sidewalk. So I did meet with our team this morning, put together a restoration plan that would allow for the sidewalk to be reopened in possibly a week or 2 weeks from now. And that would be essentially a temporary sidewalk that would be protecting the fence on either side. And then during construction operations, if there is placement of materials up to the roof, up to the upper floors, we would then close that sidewalk for whatever that necessary time frame is, be it 20 minutes or an hour, and then reopen it again. Then as part of our completion, we will be putting the sidewalk into its permanent finished state with new paving, new concrete, new plantings, etc. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has.
So my understanding, and I don't represent the city departments that wrote this letter with council, but my understanding is that the concern more relates to the street itself and restoration of the curb line so that the street can be repaved. And so they were looking for that plan as soon as possible for the letter within 10 days. And then to have that be completed this fall.
Yeah.
Have you submitted your correspondence, your plan back to the city?
We have not submitted the plan to the city as of today. I wanted to see it in person, photograph the conditions. Our intention was always to repair the curbs and the street outside the property. That was never in dispute. I think the disconnect is obviously the timing. We want to do it as soon as possible. And our plan is to submit a document that has drawings, photographs, and a schedule for that work to the city. So we'll be doing that probably next week. We had reached out to an attorney to write the letter, but there was a conflict with them having already worked with the city. So we're now sourcing a different attorney to write that letter.
If I may, the concern from the IDA's perspective is coordinating with the city on this and the delivery of, among other things, the recovery plan. The issue that we want to make sure that is working smoothly for you, candidly, is that we have a fast approaching expiration date of our sales tax line. Is your recovery plan, and we'd be able to deliver a recovery plan next week? Because that's really what the IDA wants to see in order to satisfy the city. And if we can get that done by the end of next week, then that's consistent with the August 31st expiration date of our sales tax levy. We prefer not to have a gap. We know that you prefer not to have a gap because that raises questions about whether the expenditures that we're making are subject to sales tax or not. So what we'd like to do is insert as a condition in the resolution the delivery of the recovery plan, which candidly was requested by Port Council within 10 days of the delivery of the Port Council plan. So you're way past that date. But is a recovery plan, is that something that you can do for next week?
We can, yeah, we have a draft plan already put together. I wanted to add photographs to it. So that's partly why I was there this morning, to photograph the existing conditions, incorporate those into the plan, and then working the attorney to submit that.
All right, so from the board standpoint, on printed page 4 of the resolution. Okay, the resolution obviously regarding this project has in the upper right hand corner, resolution consent to the third modification. And printed page 4 of the resolution itself. If you go to section 2 of the resolution on that page, there are several conditions. And what we'll add as a condition between B and C, a new C, and we'll re-letter the balance, delivery of the restoration plan required under the city code and put counselors on no later than August 31st, 2024.
Is there any reason to have it before the expiration date or does it line up with the expiration date of the?
Well, it's obviously better for us to have it before the
But that's why I asked whether they could do it. I don't want to set up a condition that you can't achieve.
Yeah, I would ask if it's possible to have until the end of next week, so next Friday.
Well, that's,
That's 30th, yeah, it's 30th, so.
so we'll say the 30th.
On the 30th. And when's the weekend?
Yeah, just regarding this matter, I would like to request that we could enter into an exempt session to seek the advice of council on any potential changes we may be making to this resolution, if possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I get a motion?
So
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yes, okay, we are back for the executive session. Again. We'll be moving forward with the resolution with some amendments. Do you wanna-
Yeah, and I'll go through that, Chair.
Yes, please.
So we're going to add as a condition, delivery of the recovery plan by the next Friday. Okay. Now, what we want to make sure that you're clear on is in the letter from the Corporation Council, the recovery plan is twofold. It's the curb line and the road from curb to curb. Yeah, so that's it. We just want to make sure that you're clear on what needs to be done. Yes. The recovery plan needs to cover both items. Yeah. And then it goes on to say that the work needs to be done within 30 days of the approval by the city of the plan. Okay. So what you need to make this move smoothly, you should get the plan to the city as early as possible, earlier than next Friday. Yeah. Because we're not going to sign anything until the city approves the plan. Yeah. Now, we will sign the extension in advance of the actual reconstruction. Sure, we recognize that it takes some time. Yeah. But we don't want, we want a plan in form and substance approved by the city before we sign the extension documents. Understood. Yeah.
So we'll submit the plan ASAP next week. But once we submit it, I'm not sure how long it's gonna take the city to approve it.
Copy us on the plan so we know that it's out. Sure, okay, yeah, and then you're right, it's up to the city to approve it, but yeah, obviously, the more time you give the city, right, the better it is for you. If you give it to them on Friday morning, you're putting yourself in a bad position because you want the city turning that quickly. Right, I would strongly recommend that you get it to them as early as possible. Yeah, I'm recognizing that it's also August, it's summertime.
Yes. And they've asked us to address the two variables you mentioned, so we can also call Barry to let him know. So by tomorrow, you know, it's quicker to jump on a phone call than look at questions, we can do that.
And obviously, stating that this, you know, think about demand and transmission, like email, delivery.
Yeah, well, okay. And typically, correspond with Barry's email, so
Great, okay.
And just to reiterate, to be clear, while the request at hand was the extension of the sales tax exemption and completion date through the end of 2025, this resolution contemplates a shorter duration extension to the end of October 31st, 2024, at which time you'll have the opportunity to further request an extension and come back in front of this board and you know, additional progress on the proceed. Okay.
I just, are we, anybody else?
Yeah.
I just want to state, I'm sure you're aware of this, but this is a very unpopular project to begin with. And I think we, the city, did not feel that we had legal standing to oppose it because it was essentially as of right. That being said, it has been a enormous sore spot in the neighborhood, and this board and city government is going to front of essentially your company's failures. To this point, and I think there's not a lot of hope in here that this plan that you have is actually going to succeed, quite frankly. I desperately hope that's not the case and you are successful in this, because the alternative is having a giant hulk of a concrete structure there that's not going anywhere. You know, I hope that you have consulted with the neighborhoods and the common council people, the county legislator there, because you should be talking to them yourselves, because I'm sick of doing it. And a lot of people in the city are sick of doing it for him. So that's my recommendation going forward. But I will make this motion today, so we can hopefully get this project and move on.
I will have to agree, I have every intention of finishing the construction of the projects. We are way beyond the halfway mark. You know, there's a whole slew of reasons we talked about today about why those delays occurred. but we have our financing in place, we have our team in place. We have every intention of finishing this project as quickly as possible.
But what words? I got you better.
So do I.
Well, I gotta read that page. So I have a motion from Darius approving the resolution authorizing the extension consent by the city of Albany IDA. The third modification of the basic documents in connection with the 1211 Western Avenue Property Associates LLC project with the revisions discussed by council. May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you again soon.
Agency update. Okay, all right. Compliance update. Any other items to discuss?
Over here.
All right, may I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.